Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to someone driving in the USA for the first time. Now this is going to be really valuable for me because I'm obviously planning on a trip to the US next year. I'm probably going to rent a car in the different states that I'm in, but I've never driven in America before. And although I imagine a lot of the road systems that we have in the UK are quite similar to yours, such as maybe yielding or giving way to the right, things like that. But there are going to be certain differences, that I'm going to probably need to prepare for. So this video here, I'm hoping it's going to point a lot of these things out to me. So yeah, this should be interesting. So let's do it.
Hi, I'm Mike with MikeTravelGuide.com. And about a year ago, I produced a video showing me driving in the UK for the first time. And since then, I got a lot of questions and comments from that video. And one question I got was from Kim in Australia. She asked me if I could produce a video for driving in the US for the first time. And that's what we're going to do today.
All right. One thing I've noticed about American roads based on my vacations there are that your roads are a lot wider and the car parking spaces are a lot bigger, which is great, because here the roads are narrow, the lanes are narrow, so hopefully it will be a little bit easier. But you guys don't really have many roundabouts. You have intersections, so yeah, that'll be something to get used to.
Well, this video is not about me driving in the US for the first time. It's about other people coming here driving in the US for the first time. One thing, if you're from the UK or if you're from Australia, you're going to be driving on the opposite side of the road, which means everything in the car is going to be pretty much on the opposite side. The steering wheel will be on the opposite side of the car. Your gear shifter is going to be to your right.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. That's going to take me a while to get used to, because obviously I'm used to, right hand, well, both hands on the wheel, just in case there's anyone, so both hands on the wheel, and then using my left hand to change gear. But it's going to be the opposite. Oh man.
Right, not to your left. Your mirror is going to be kind of facing towards the left-hand side, and everything's a little bit different. So when you're looking for oncoming traffic, in the UK I had to look on this side. In the US I have to look in my rearview mirror on this side. And in my other video, driving in the UK for the first time, I gave a few suggestions. The first of which was I highly recommended renting a car with an automatic transmission. Okay. And here in the US, it's almost impossible to rent a car with a stick shift. So you don't have to worry. If you're going to rent a car here, it's going to have an automatic transmission. And I also would recommend that you get a car with air conditioning. But again, unless you're renting from a place like Rent-A-Wreck, you're going to get a car with a functioning air conditioning. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, I did also recommend in my last video that you get a sat-nav or bring a sat-nav along. And here...
But can't you use Google Maps? Because I just use Google Maps. I just find it way easier than the inbuilt sat-nav. So can't you just use Google Maps?
For most places, that's not really necessary. I mean, in some circumstances it might be. If you're traveling, let's say, to a lot of specific places, let's say on a sales job, you could have a benefit by having a sat-nav. But if you are just kind of coming for a normal trip, the rental agency will give you a map. And if you study that map for about 5 or 10 minutes and learn where the major interstates and highways run, you're going to be just fine. In fact, that information from that map is going to get you at least 90% of the way there. The last portion, you can just use your iPhone to find a specific restaurant where your hotel is located or a specific address. So all in all, driving here is really very easy compared to driving in other locations. Now, there are some differences. One difference is that we have the ability to make a right-hand turn on a red light. So that means if you pull up to a red light and you're turning right, you'll have to stop, but then you can turn right on a red light.
Hold on a minute. So the light will be red, that it won't be red and then below it have a green arrow going right. So it will just be straight up red and you can still turn right? Okay. All right. But okay, I think maybe what I'll do is when I first get there, I'll probably just get Uber for a while just to, and then watch how the guy drives just to kind of really get used to the system and acclimatize to it.
Another thing what we have is you can make a left-hand turn at a red light as long as you're on a one-way street and you're turning on a one-way street. An additional item that we have that's also a little bit strange and different is that we have four-way stops. And a four-way stop is stop signs at an intersection and everyone has to stop. In other words, no one has a right of way. And the first person to come to the stop sign goes first. And then, of course, if you're there second, you go second, so on and so forth. Now, there are some things I really want to warn you about. One thing are school zones. School zones really slow you down. And in fact, some people would say, wow, that's really, really slow. In fact, they slow you down sometimes to 15 or 20 miles per hour. And they're normally active when kids are going to school or getting out of school.
That's similar to here, once you get really close to a school, yeah, it's 20 mile an hour tops, just because kids could be crossing, and what do you do if you're doing 40 mile an hour? And that's not going to end well. So yeah, I personally agree with it, having slow speeds around schools.
And the reason I'm telling you this, of course, it's important not to hurt the kids, but you want to know, because if you get fined in the school zone, the fine is normally double the normal fine. So, and cops are very active in school zones because it's easy targets, because it's easy to miss. Now, another thing about speeding, as long as you stay with traffic, you should be okay when driving in the US. In other words, if you're not driving faster than everyone else, you'll probably be safe. I highly recommend that you don't speed, at least speed aggressively, and get a ticket. In the US, we don't have a lot of speed cameras. We have cops on the sides of the road waiting to give people tickets. And cops in the US are not nice people. Cops are normally bullies. They're normally very rude and very aggressive. And they're there to fine you or to put you in jail. So I'd highly recommend avoid any type of...
How much are the fines, like if you do get caught speeding? What are we talking here, like 50 bucks, 60 bucks? And, if it's a school zone, I imagine he said double. So what would that be, $100 and $120? Yeah, that would sting a little.
Conflict or situation where you're dealing with police. Just stay away from police in the US. They are not there to help you. So the other thing I want to say is that
that's quite a controversial statement.
All in all, driving in the US is very, very easy. There's ample space. There's lots of turning lanes where you turn off, and you can actually get out of traffic. There's also the ability, if you miss your turn, where you can easily turn around and or make a U-turn or get off the street you're driving on. So all in all, driving is very easy here, and most people will find it a fun experience. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Please do me a favor and like this video and subscribe.
That was really, really informative. Like, there are, a lot more differences than I first realized. The ability to turn right on a red and also left on a red is something that, we here absolutely under no circumstances do you do that. So I think, yeah, maybe for the first day or so, I'll just get like taxis, Ubers, things like that, and just really try and learn the ways of the road just via watching the driver. But yeah, really, really interesting video. Really enjoyed it, found it really informative. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.